Ladies and gentlemen, gather around, because today we're diving deep, literally, into a car that looks less like something you'd see on the road and more like something Captain Nemo would have parked in his driveway. A machine so bizarre, so shiny, and so aerodynamic that if aliens landed in 1917, they probably would have mistaken it for their Uber ride back to Mars. I'm talking about the legendary Golden Submarine. Not just a car, this was a golden bullet, a racing spaceship for the ground, and maybe the most outrageous thing ever to grace an American racetrack. But before we pop the hatch and climb aboard this golden fish tank on wheels, let me thank you legends for being here. Without your support, I'd probably be stuck reviewing forklift manuals in my cousin's basement while eating cold pizza. If you're new here, welcome to Car History, where cars aren't just machines, they're characters in the grand soap opera of human ambition. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next weird, wonderful, or downright cursed invention that dared to call itself an automobile. Now, picture America in 1917. World War I was raging overseas, jazz hadn't quite exploded yet, and cars were still mostly boxy contraptions that looked like horse carriages who'd lost their horses. Racing was dangerous, like really dangerous. Helmets were optional, seatbelts weren't even a rumor, and race cars looked like a kid's soapbox derby car with an engine bolted on. Crashes were common, and fatalities were sadly expected. Drivers weren't just athletes, they were daredevils flirting with disaster. Enter Barney Oldfield, the most famous race driver of his day, a man with a mustache so bold it could have had its own racing team. Oldfield wanted something new, something safer, something that wouldn't leave him splattered on the track like a tomato at a county fair. And that's where Harry Miller comes in. Harry Miller wasn't just a mechanic, he was a wizard with metal. He looked at the boxy cars of the era and said, "What if we made one shaped like a torpedo?" And thus, the Golden Submarine was born in 1917. Imagine it, a gleaming, gold-painted, fully enclosed race car at a time when most drivers were practically sitting on lawn chairs with wheels. It had a full aluminum body, lightweight, aerodynamic, futuristic. It looked like something designed not by an engineer, but by Jules Verne after one too many espressos. Now, if you're wondering how many Golden Submarines roamed the Earth, brace yourself. Just one. Yep, one single golden bullet. No sedans, no roadsters, no family wagons with matching gold roof racks. It wasn't meant for production, it was a one-off experimental race car, a concept brought to life. In a way, it was less model lineup and more mad science project that somehow worked. The Golden Submarine hit the racing scene like a glitter bomb in a Victorian tea room, loud, shocking, and impossible to ignore. Crowds came not just to watch it race, but to see it. Drivers laughed at first, it looked too weird, too heavy, too enclosed. But when it started winning, nobody was laughing anymore. Barney Oldfield piloted the submarine to multiple victories, proving it wasn't just a pretty gold face. Still, it never became a mass-market idea. Why? Because enclosed cars were hot and stuffy, visibility was rough, and the average racer wasn't ready to give up the thrill or the danger of open cockpits. It was ahead of its time, like inventing an iPhone in 1920 and trying to sell it to farmers still using telegraphs. Underneath that golden shell, the submarine packed a Miller-designed four-cylinder, 289 cubic-inch engine, cranking out 145 horsepower. In 1917, that was pure insanity, like strapping a rocket to a soapbox. Top speed? Around 120 miles per hour. That may not sound wild today, but remember, this was a world where most cars wheezed out at 40. This thing was a cheetah in a world of donkeys. And it wasn't just about speed. The enclosed design meant safety. Drivers could, at least in theory, walk away from crashes instead of being catapulted into the crowd like ragdolls. Let's talk looks. The Golden Submarine was sleek, rounded, and of course painted gold. It looked more like a Zeppelin with wheels than a car. No windows, just little cutouts to peek through, making the driver feel like he was piloting a tank designed by Liberace. Inside, it was stripped down, no luxury leather, no cup holders, not even a glove box. It was all business, just a seat, a steering wheel, and the knowledge that you were sitting inside the most futuristic car on Earth. As for price, well, it wasn't exactly something you could stroll into a dealership and buy. This was a custom one-off, built for Oldfield and Miller's vision, costing thousands of dollars at a time when you could buy a perfectly good Ford Model T for under $400. Adjusted for today, we're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars for a single car. Against competition like the Model T or other open races, it wasn't a fair fight. It was like bringing a golden bazooka to a water balloon fight. So what happened to the Golden Submarine? Sadly, like many pioneering machines, it was eventually scrapped, but its influence lived on. Enclosed cockpits became the norm in racing decades later, proving Miller was just too far ahead of the curve. Today, replicas exist in museums and private collections, shining reminders of a time when one man dared to turn a car into a golden fish-shaped rocket. If the original had survived, it would likely fetch millions at auction. A golden submarine? That's car collector kryptonite. And so, the Golden Submarine remains less a car and more a legend, a shimmering golden glimpse into the future that came too early. It was bold, it was weird, and it was a warning shot that car design didn't have to stay square forever. So, next time you see a sleek modern racer, remember it all started with a man, a dream, and a gold-painted torpedo that made history. Thank you, you absolute legends, for joining me on this dive into car history. May your spark plugs never foul, may your rust stay far away, and may your own golden submarines, whatever they may be, always run smooth. Don't forget to subscribe before you dash off to eBay hunting for miniature submarine models. This is Car History, signing off until the next ride through time.